Not the safe landscapes of my youth, but bold emotional pieces, women with their faces turned toward the sun, mountains reflected in still lakes, abstract swirls of grief and joy intertwined. One evening, as I stood on my balcony, watching the lights of evening boats glide across Lake Zürich, I knew what I had to do. I would marry myself, not as a gimmick, not as performance art, but as a sacred act of reclamation. On June 21st, the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, when light triumphs over darkness, I climbed Uetliberg Mountain at dawn. I wore a white linen dress I'd sewn myself, simple and sleeveless, with no veil, no guests, no witnesses except the sky. At the summit, with the entire city spread below me like a dream, I stood barefoot on the cool grass and spoke my vows aloud. I, Elise Van der Meer, take myself fully, fiercely, and finally as my own beloved. I vow to listen when I speak, to rest when I'm weary, to create even when no one applauds. I vow to honor my grief, but not let it define me, to celebrate my joy, even when it feels small. I will no longer wait for permission to take up space, or apologize for needing tenderness, or shrink myself to fit someone else's comfort. From this day forward, in solitude and in company, in clarity and in confusion, in silence and in song, I choose me. Not because I'm perfect, but because I am worthy, exactly as I am, for better or worse, especially for worse, in sickness and in health, even when my hands shake, till death do us part. I slipped the silver band onto my right hand and wept, not the quiet, controlled tears I'd shed for decades, but deep, heaving sobs of release, as if my soul were finally exhaling after holding its breath for 30 years. In that moment, I wasn't just saying, I do. I was saying, I'm back. Since that day, my life hasn't become perfect. I still have lonely evenings. I still miss my children when they're far away. But I am no longer lost. Every morning, I make 2 cups of tea, one for me, one for the woman I'm becoming, and we sit together on the balcony, watching the lake. I joined a watercolor group in Niederdorf, and now teach weekend classes to retirees who, like me, are rediscovering parts of themselves they thought were gone forever. Last month, a small gallery in Winterthur asked to display 3 of my paintings under the title Returning to Myself. People sometimes ask if I'm lonely, and I tell them, loneliness isn't about being alone. It's about being unseen. I am seen now, by myself, and that is enough. I don't regret my marriage. It gave me 2 wonderful children, taught me resilience, and showed me the quiet strength of showing up, even when love feels thin. But I do regret losing myself in it. And that's why I share this story. Not to shame my ex-husband, not to glorify solitude, but to remind anyone listening, especially those over 50 who've spent a lifetime caring for everyone but themselves, you are still yours. Your dreams haven't expired. Your joy hasn't retired. Your heart hasn't closed its doors, even if it's been boarded up for years. All it takes is one honest breath, one brave step, one quiet yes to yourself. So if you're reading this and you feel that familiar ache, the whisper that says, is this all there is? I invite you to ask yourself, what would I do if I truly believed I deserved my own love? Maybe it's signing up for that class you've always wanted to take, calling that old friend you lost touch with, buying a one-way ticket to somewhere that scares and excites you, or simply standing in front of the mirror and saying your own name not as a label, but as a vow. My name is Elise Van der Meer. I am 57. I live alone on Seestrasse in Zürich, and last summer, on the longest day of the year, I married the most important person I'll ever know. Me